This is the Volvo EX90 twin motor performance ultra, and we're spending a week living with it. It is the electrified sibling to the XC90, and if we're carrying that sibling analogy through, the XC90 would be the responsible, experienced, older sibling, whereas this is the upstart, tech-filled younger sibling that spends 24/7 scrolling through social media. But what the EX90 actually is a full electric flagship SUV for Volvo, packed with a lot of technology, some really cool styling, some great luxuries, and we're gonna find out what it's like to live with. Now, as a twin motor performance, this one's got some pretty good specs. 510 horsepower, 671 pound-feet of torque, dual motor all-wheel drive system. 0 to 60 in the mid 4-second range is what Volvo says, but I think this is more tuned for the sophisticated civility comfort that you would expect out of a Volvo. This is not meant to be the sporty, quickest thing out there. Now, in terms of the specs for range, this has about a 111 kilowatt hour battery pack. The max range would be 310 miles, but when you upsize to the larger wheels like this one has, the 22-inch wheels, actually drops to about 300 miles. I'm curious to see what we're gonna see in the real world, driving around in real world situations using climate control, massage seats, judiciously applying the accelerator. What is the actual range going to be like, charging it, and so forth. Now, this thing, I think, looks very, very nice. It's got a lot of great features, but it's very heavily optioned. This one, it's about $94,000 as options, which I know is a lot of money, but you're in a segment of luxury 3-row SUVs filled with tech. This one's got some notable options like the upgraded 22-inch wheels and the Bowers & Wilkins sound system, which is $3,200, but I think it is worth every penny because it is one of my favorite sound systems in the world. What is the EX90 like to live with? How does it stack up to other options? Let's go find out. Let's take a tour of the EX90. This one is finished in a paint color called Sand Dune. It's this very light tan, cappuccino beige kind of desert feeling paint that's really cool. I'm a big fan of the way it looks. We are also on the optional 22-inch wheels, the largest wheels available on the EX90. In terms of the lighting signature, it's really cool. It's composed of these little individual rectangular blocks of light that form the DRL lighting signature, and it's still that Thor's hammer shape, so immediately identifiable as a Volvo, but it's got this modern creative twist to it. It's really, really cool. Same thing with the front fascia. You don't need airflow like a traditional internal combustion engine, so there's no grille up front. Instead, you get it all painted body color there, but it's just a more sleek, modern take on the Volvo design language. An interesting thing to note on the EX90 is that bump right there. That's the LiDAR system, which currently is not contributing to the driver assistance tech. Apparently it's like collecting data, but it will enable the EX90 to see up to like 820 feet in front, even when it's pitch dark outside. But currently it's not really doing anything specifically, except for possibly, you may have seen the videos, damaging like your phone camera or something. Like the lasers go pew pew and it may damage your iPhone camera. So I've been very careful when I'm filming. I don't want it to like wreck my camera. But anyways, that's the LiDAR bump right there in the middle. And below that we have Volvo for life. Cool little sentence there. The side view mirrors are also really cool to note. It's this frameless mirror. So you see the mirror goes all the way to the edge, and they actually have a camera right here on a stalk that it's held on. So this is a more futuristic-y looking even side view mirror area. And then the door handles usually sit flush, but they pop out when the vehicle is unlocked. And we also have the charging door here on the driver's side. Coming around to the back, the lighting signature is also unique from the XC90. I think it's really cool. I like these little segments on the top bar, and then we have the big kind of swoosh right there for the taillights, the Volvo lettering, and then it says EX90 Twin Performance. So that's a quick look at the rear end of the EX90. Let's go ahead and pop the trunk. Press the button there, or you can kick underneath. I think it also opens, but Cargo space, pretty good. We've got my backpack, some camera gear back here. I noticed this earlier, which is really cool. We've got this like graphic of a side profile of the EX90 and a bunch of different measurements of various dimensions. And then it says, will it fit? We've got a stroller, a suitcase, a plant, golf clubs, a lamp, a washing machine, a chair, skis, and like a wardrobe. Would a washing machine fit in this? I guess it could, yeah, but this is a cool little like Easter egg diagram I just noticed in the back of the EX90. We've got 3 rows of seats, currently 3rd row folded down. With button, here's the control. You can change the air suspension height, but also you press that. And one touch, the 3rd row will fold up like that. Do the same thing on the right. And if you press it, it will go back down. So 3rd row, I have it folded down just for cargo. Hello, EX90 and the key card. There's no actual key fob, but it senses I'm approaching with the little card, and the door handles have popped out to greet me. This is a very, very nice spec. This color is really, really cool. It's a unique finish for sure. And dang, this interior is very, very nice. That typical Scandinavian, like minimalist luxury, very cool materials. This is going to be a fun week. We're actually heading off to go pick up some moving boxes I'm getting for free off Facebook Marketplace because we have to move soon. So we'll be doing some SUV-ish things. No on-off button. Just get in, put your foot on the brake, and to drive, and away we go. One of the first impressions is this thing is very quiet on the road. Wind noise and road noise is not bad at all, even at freeway speeds. They did a good job in the XC90 making it quiet, but the isolation, the noise reduction is pretty good in the EX90 too. We do have some driver assistance tech, but it's not hands-free, so you have to keep a hand on the steering wheel, but it'll help you with speeding up, slowing down, keeping in your lane, and it'll do lane changes. If you have that little icon right there, I'll indicate left, keep a hand on the wheel, speeding up, making a lane change, and it will complete and get up to speed and keep going. So not full hands-free, but still some pretty good assistance tech when you're on the freeway. Really hazy sunset this evening, and the DRL headlights on the Volvo are going crazy on the camera. They don't look like that in real life, obviously. All right, so we're down to 46% indicated range remaining, and it's estimating 110 miles. We definitely will be charging this thing up this week. This qualifies as SUV things. 2nd row seats folded forward. Lots of moving boxes secured. Facebook Marketplace for the win. Got all of these for free, which will be very helpful when we are packing up, getting ready to move. I think I'm getting a little bit spoiled with some of the bigger GM family EVs like the Escalade IQ, the Sierra EV, Silverado EV, because those things have utterly enormous battery packs. It does come with a lot of weight and a lot of size, but you pretty much don't worry about range. I mean, the Escalade IQ does like 460 miles on a charge, but obviously costs a lot to charge up because it's like a 200 something kilowatt hour battery pack. It's like twice the size of this thing. This is more normal. So 52% charge, 150 miles estimated, about 300 miles. That's under ideal driving situations. And the thing to consider that I'm really realizing is if you're just charged 80%, which is what you're supposed to do for most of the time, you're not seeing that full rated range. So that 300 miles might actually end up being like 260 miles of usable. And also you're not going to run it down to 0 and go to the charging station. So it really does start to matter. And charging infrastructure, again, is more important than the actual charging like the range itself, right? We never worry about our fuel tank size really, because you can just go to a gas station and fill up. So it's charging infrastructure anxiety versus range anxiety. Why am I getting that look?
Because you closed the garage door on me.
But I didn't realize you weren't out of the garage. Sorry, honey. What do you think about the Volvo EX90 styling?
I really like the color. I like
It's
this
cool.
mocha neutral tan color.
It's like cappuccino.
It's like pearly too.
I like the interior a lot too. I figured you'd like it because it's light colored.
Light, very pretty, very modern, very spaceship feeling. I like it.
It also has soft closed doors. Ta-da! Oh, you can do 3-way fold for the seats instead of 40-60. You can put the middle one down if you have something like really long going through, and then you have 4 adults still. Pulling into a parking spot, we can pull up the camera and look at that overhead view. Wow! Oh yeah, this one you can pan around. And I believe you can zoom too. Look at that.
Nice.
It's pretty cool. Makes it
Handy.
easier to park, and then you can also add on the rear view or swap it to the front view. So I have the rear view here, also pan around, I can zoom. That's pretty cool on this gigantic center screen. That's a good usage of this massive screen. Although, see, these are all stitched together from a bunch of really wide-angle lenses, and that Chevy looks like it's 16 times the size of us, right? Everything gets a little bit warped. You look like a little tiny toy car when you do that. But the point is to help you get into the spot. That's such a cool welcome sequence. The headlights on this thing are wild. Off to run some errands with my wife. We're going to the post office, and we have to go to AAA to get some passport photos taken.
Yeah, and then a sweet treat for me.
What?
What?
That wasn't on the agenda. I did not get a calendar invite for sweet treat.
It is now.
Something I have noticed is when you first get in, put it into whatever drive reverse, there's almost a little bit of a hesitation, like the power steering hasn't kicked in yet, a little bit of resistance. Where's my CarPlay? Hello?
Uh-oh. Oh, there
See,
we go.
No, that's the built-in Google.
Oh.
So like I don't know if it's my phone or CarPlay or the vehicle. But at least we still have CarPlay. So many EVs now don't give you CarPlay. The GM EVs are pretty much no CarPlay. Chevy, Cadillac, GMC, and then Rivian, Tesla obviously don't get CarPlay in those either. So Volvo's still giving us CarPlay. The electric G-Wagon?
Yeah.
I'm not sure actually. I haven't been in an electric G-Wagon. Let's go into, wait, no, where's my drive mode control? No, not that. Performance. That's performance all-wheel drive, and punch it. So as you saw down there, that like contextual bar will update and change depending on what you're doing. So when you come to a stop, when you slow down, it will pop up the camera shortcut. Whereas right now while we're driving, the performance little toggle is right there. So that will change depending on what is happening. That was also available in the XC90 we recently spent some time with. I really like that little speaker up there for the Bowers & Wilkins sound system. That thing is so cool. It looks like a little spaceship. They've always had that extra little tweeter up there in the middle. It's one of the signature touches, but it's like been evolved. It looks even more futuristic. It reminds me of, if you're into watches, MB&F. They're like mechanical machines. That thing is, it looks really cool. So we came to a stop. That pulled up the camera now, but if I go here to settings and driving, that's it, just one pedal drive, performance all-wheel drive, that's on. Oh, I can change suspension, soft or firm, and then there's off-road, but it's not as extensive. In the XC90 plug-in hybrid, there are a couple other ones. I was flooring it. That's quick enough. I'm not sure I love the whole key card thing, because there's been a couple times where it hasn't sensed my approach. I had it in my pocket, and then I had to like wiggle it on the little sensor. But you know, this is the future. Just a key card or a phone app. A lot of times EVs go to that now. I didn't get a key fob with this thing. I don't know if you can get one when you buy one, but I was not given an actual key fob with this EX90. Instead, I got a credit card. Here's something that's annoying. So we only have 2 window switches here and a button. So right now, you open up your driver window or passenger window, but then you press this, and now it's the back window. I think Volkswagen did something similar, but what is this trying to achieve? We save one button, right? Because if you had 4 switches here, that's only one extra interface control versus having a button here control both. So like the annoying thing could be you're going through the Starbucks drive-thru or whatever, and you want to open your driver window, but this is press, and you didn't realize it. Instead of opening your window, the back window is opening. Like, I think that's silly. That's like taking minimalism too far, and the actual interface, like the user experience, is no longer as ideal. This might be easier to see at night when it's darker out, but there's actually 2 little dashes there that show you have the front windows, or if you press it, the back window. But like if you're driving, I'm not gonna see that, right? So you kind of have to know which front or rear window switch control panel you have currently enabled. So yeah, that's a little bit of a pet peeve. I'm not a fan of that. To lock the EX90, you can either just walk away, or you can hold the card right there and it will lock. There for unlock, and there for lock. Come on. There we go. Or you can just walk away and it will auto lock. Here's the screen you get when you first get into the car. It's a glove box button because there's no physical glove box release anymore. It is through the touchscreen. But let's see, I need to get myself to the charging station, so go here. This is the built-in Google Maps. Electrify America. This interior ambient lighting is so cool. That pattern shines through the wood trim. During the day, you can't see that at all. That's like super subtle. It's not over the top, crazy RGB LED lights going everywhere, color changing. Whoa. I don't think you can even change the color. I think it's just fixed. XC90 was kind of like that too, just a subtle glow. Again, no crazy red, blue, orange, green, lime green lights. It can be fun, and it fits the personality of certain cars, but I think the restrained, sophisticated, minimalistic luxury of a Volvo, this kind of lighting works really, really well. 120, 130, 140. Can we do over 200? This isn't the fastest charging EV out there at 250. There's some that I've seen over 300 sustained from some GMs like the Hummer EV. I think Volvo says 10 to 80% in 30 minutes, which is decently quick. Obviously, your charging rate will slow down as you get closer to 100, and you're not supposed to charge to 100 for regular usage. They really recommend like 80% for the health of your battery, and you can set your different target battery level. They have 90% for daily drive, 100% for a long trip, and you can do a custom one too. So to get from the 21 we're at to 80 says 30 minutes. To full 100, it'll be 55 minutes. So that was just over $50 because we took 84 kilowatt hours, and fast charging is expensive, 56 cents per kilowatt hour. So that's how much a fill-up was in the EX90. This is pretty cool though. Inside there, that looks like that's 3D printed. So this is your volume dial. You can also go forward and back with that. That's a nice little touch right there. A little bit of subtle glow. See some lighting underneath there. A little bit in the side cup holders or the side storage on the door. And then through the wood. Also in the second row back there. And of the big panoramic glass roof. The outside air quality is poor. There's been like forest fires in Canada, and it's been really hazy in Michigan, so outside air is genuinely not been great the last couple days, but in-car is good. We can take a look at air quality and pollen, so it's got all this information, all the different kinds of pollen, so if you want clean air, the EX90 has you covered on the inside. That's pretty cool. Also, this is not just a wireless phone charger. The key tag apparently requires charging. So if I go here to status, everything is okay, but key tag 1, charged. Interesting. With the adaptive cruise control, right now the previous speed was 64 miles an hour. If I were to start it again by just pressing down once on the shifter stalk right here, it would go to whatever speed I'm at. So you press and hold it down to restore it to the original previous speed you're at. Because here's, for example, if I hit the brakes and I just press down once, it's gonna update to the current speed I'm going at, which is 36 miles an hour. But if I wanted to go back to the higher speed, you have to press and hold down on this transmission stalk. So there's no button for that. You have to use the actual, the shifter, I guess transmission stalk, the drive select stalk thing. Yeah, this thing. Check out the welcome lighting. You get the animation, and then they like open up. It's like eyes where they open up. It's a mechanical little thing. So the headlights are beneath or behind the DRLs. You get the Thor's Hammer DRL segments, which is really, really cool. It immediately evokes a Volvo look, but like modernized with these little like rectangles of light. The frunk isn't huge. We have it divided into 3 different sections here. That's our like emergency tire kit, but you could put a little bit of something underneath there. Not a massive front trunk though. And also interesting, not a like electronic release. Like a lot of these EVs now have the power front trunk. You just press a button and it goes like your trunk, right? Much more useful. Bowers & Wilkins demo. Let's play this. Whoa. Obviously, you're not going to get the full effect going through the little camera here, but this is immersive in person. Oh, surround sound, yes. Through the headrests, I hear it through the headrests. It's like moving the sound around the car. Oh, this is awesome. Yeah, so without a doubt, this Bowers & Wilkins in the EX90 is one of my favorite sound systems in any car. This is absolutely fabulous. 25 speakers, 1610 watts. Wow. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Okay. All right. So it folds forward and slides forward. Gives a little bit of space back here to crawl into the 3rd row. Oh boy. I'm 6'3", not a small person, so Oh, I'm gonna fold the headrest up. Yeah, I'm not gonna fit. Nope. Nope. No shot. Cup holder back here, storage, USB-C port for charging, but definitely not enough legroom for me. I cannot, like, that's a no-go. And I cannot sit up straight. The roof is bending my spine, so if you're 6'3", I would not recommend the third row of the EX90. Just not viable. You need to go up a class to something bigger. Let's do a bit of driving and talk about what it has been like to live with the EX90 this week. Overall, I think this is a fantastic vehicle with a couple of little drawbacks that I've discovered. One of the first things is going to be the key card. I'm not a fan of this key card. Now, there is the Volvo app, but I don't think you can have actual key fob, like an unlock lock key fob. And the problem with the key card is there's been numerous times when I was approaching the vehicle and it just didn't sense me. Or I was walking away and I'm like, are you gonna go to sleep? The key's in my pocket, I don't know. And I had to go back and tap it on the driver's side. And as far as I can tell, it only works tapping on the driver's side door handle. So like if I approach the passenger side, a couple times I want to open the door for my wife and it just won't unlock. And I don't think tapping this on the passenger side worked. So not a huge fan of this. And I did see some stuff on like the forums and on social media where apparently you only get one key card when you buy one of these. Somebody said they had to go to the dealer and pay money to get a second key card. Anyways, that's a little bit of a qualm, a little complaint, right? If they just give it with an actual physical key fob like the XC90 still comes with, I would be a happy camper personally. But that's the thing with EVs, and Volvo seems to be following that path slightly. Rivian, the Gen 2 Rivian I got was just also a key card, but I also had the app, and I did set up the app and use that and it was fine, but there was not a physical little key fob anymore. And that follows the whole EV-ification, and Volvo definitely is going for that entire experience. The minimalistic interior is to the max, and it pretty much aligns with the other EV experiences where everything is just like the stocks. They actually at least have some buttons on the steering wheel, but it's all through the touchscreen. At least we have a volume knob here and you can go forward and back track. So there are a couple controls, but like all your climate stuff are through the screen, and there's some different things that require multiple taps and interfaces. For example, I want to turn on my massage seats. I go here to the left, I press the button, then I go from adjust to massage, pick my program, my settings, and I hit start. So it takes a couple different taps and things like that to get to it. But that's not the hugest problem. That is what a lot of these modern EVs are going to. Let's balance that with one of my favorite parts is the driving dynamics and ride quality of this is seriously impressive. So we are on the optional upgraded 22-inch wheels, which means less tire sidewall, but with the air suspension, this thing rides very, very nice. With the suspension, you can change between firm or soft. So if I go here to driving, under driving dynamics, I can go from suspension soft firm, steering feel soft firm. I've just had it soft the entire time and it rides pretty well, up to literally the worst tarmac that we have here in Michigan where it's all potholes and bumps, right? Then you'll feel it a little bit, but otherwise it's very quiet, very comfortable, very smooth. The dynamics from a like steering and power delivery is also very, very smooth. Not tuned to be like punch you in the face acceleration that you get with some EVs, but not lazy either. I mean, it's got pretty solid power and torque for sure. Why did my CarPlay disconnect? This interior is so nice. It is very, very nice. It's that Scandinavian like elegance, right? The wood trim here, I love you can feel the actual texture to the wood, and at night, the way like the lighting shines through. The metal speaker grills, the leather here on all various surfaces, the quilting too. It's just a very clean, open, airy, and just high quality, nicely designed interior, and the quality feels extremely nice. Very thoughtful, very just massive thumbs up. I'm a big fan of the interior on the EX90. Honestly, there only is one thing I would change. It's not technically interior, just the way this one is configured. I don't have cooled seats. Like, this is almost $100,000. I have a heated steering wheel, heated seats, massage seats. The massage seats are very good. You know, Swedish massage, right? It's got to be fantastic. The massage seats are high quality, fantastic, but no cooled seats. And I think that's a weird omission. I think you can option them, but for some reason this one as a Ultra, like the top trim, we've got all these fancy options, but no cooled seats. And when it's hot, humid, 91 degrees outside, I've been sweaty all day. I would like cooled seats because my back is very sweaty right now. Maybe that's TMI, but cooled seats are really, really nice. let's see, what else do we want to talk about? It's very smooth, it's comfortable. I love the design. When I walk away after parking, I look back at it, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. The lighting welcome sequence is really, really cool. It is obviously plenty practical. Let's see, what else? How does it stack up against the competition? Pricing, this one's $94,000, like I mentioned. It's got a good, actually, it's the sound system that's the most expensive option. The wheels weren't actually that expensive. The Bowers & Wilkins, $3,200, I would do it. But just as an Ultra, you have a lot of these options already included on the top tier trim. And this is a twin motor performance, so the most potent one. $94,000 is a lot of money, but if we compare this against a Cadillac Vistic, against the Mercedes EQ, you can probably shop this against the EQS, BMW would have the iX. That's what these things cost. I mean, they're $80,000 to $100,000. The range would be the weak point here. Driver assistance loses out to the Vistic, but I think this is more comfortable in terms of the ride, and the driving dynamics are a little more serene and isolated feeling, and you get CarPlay. That's a big point, right? I know my friend Drake loves to complain that GM EVs no longer have CarPlay. You can have wireless CarPlay and Android Auto on the EX90. It is available on this giant tablet screen. Is this a good value? No, it's a very expensive luxury SUV, and it has a very specific use case. If I were shopping, I would probably still end up buying an XC90. I had a plug-in hybrid, and I like that blend of usability. Still the gas engine for a road trip, plenty of luxury, creature comfort. So shopping, for example, Angel, my wife, right? Maybe want to replace her Macan with something slightly larger, newer, more premium. The XC90 would be really appealing. The EX90 I would go for if the range was just a little bit more. I don't need a ton more. Give me 350 miles consistently. She drives a lot for work. She's in Toledo right now, right? So it's an hour drive there and back. I would love for her to be able to do that without stopping to charge. And I know most of the time your day-to-day commute is not going to be 300 miles. I know, but it could be just the peace of mind when you do need to do that. So I think around that 300 point with usable range. Oh, that's another really good point. I'm kind of wandering right now, but usable range, because you're not supposed to charge to 100% all the time, and you're not going to run this thing down to zero. So really, if you do 10 to 20, call it 10% to 80%. That is your usable window. And if the overall 100% range is 300, that usable window is going to be less. It's in the 200s, right? So you ideally want your usable range to be 300 miles, and I'm a happy camper. Or we fix our chargers. If there's bigger charger infrastructure, or that's not a problem. Enough about range. Anyways, what would stop me from buying this? Well, I don't have $94,000 for an SUV right now at the moment, but I really liked it. I really liked it. I was trying to think like this versus XC90, this versus Cadillac Vistic, this versus the Mercedes EQS, and it's like, Volvo has this unique niche. It's that like minimalistic, like simple luxury. Nothing more that you don't need, but everything you want is essentially there. I think the qualities of the material, the design, the layout, ergonomics is very, very nice. Driving dynamics, very, very nice. The sound system, oh, so good. Oh, I love the Bowers & Wilkins in this. I have been blasting my favorite music all week long, and I've just really enjoyed driving this thing. Give me a proper physical key fob, or maybe I should play with the app, but I just would like a proper key fob. What if like my phone died? What if, yeah, it's just an actual physical key fob. I like the feeling of having that too in my hand. That's a very personal specific thing, but I did encounter some issues with it. But otherwise, overall, big fan of the EX90. It really does feel like the much more modern flagship, ground up design on their Scalable Product Architecture 2, SPA2. Automakers love their acronyms for sure, and it definitely, you can tell that it's just newer than the XC90, because the XC90 got carried on for longer and longer. Which one would I pick between the two? For my use case, probably XC90 plug-in hybrid, but if I was fully entrenched in EV life, EV architecture, this would be under high consideration in the segment, and I'm looking forward to see what they do with that LiDAR system, because right now it's just a big bump that might wreck your camera if you point it at it when it's on, right? Right now it doesn't add to any hands-free or things like that, but I would love to see where they continue to advance with the EX90. Hope you guys enjoyed this vlog, joining me as I spent a week living with the EX90 Twin Motor Performance Ultra. Very long name for a very nice SUV. Thanks for watching.